Hi everyone, this is Debbie and I'm so excited you're watching this video to learn how to extend thinking in your classroom using some cool Google tools. Now, anytime you see Lead Forward and Google together, you know it's got to be good. So start out by looking at the Lead Forward website and finding playlists. And then you'll see an image on the screen that will let you go out and see all the wonderful instructional strategies Lead Forward has to offer. But if you'll look across the middle of the screen, you'll see some tabs, and there's one for extending thinking, and it's all kinds of wonderful templates that Lead Forward has created to help make these strategies possible. One we're going to focus on today is Justified List, and you'll notice when we open that up, it's going to default and open it as a Word document. You can see that in the top left-hand corner, that blue W lets you know that you have a Word document. Now, if we got ready to share this out with our students, it's going to tell us, wait a minute, you can't share it until you've turned it into a Google Doc. So let's just do that right away. We're going to go to File, Save as a Google Doc. And when we do, it's going to open that template up, and you'll see that the W for Word now becomes a Google Doc symbol. We have that open. We can go in and add our own question stems and our own examples and non-examples. And I worked with 3 wonderful biology teachers yesterday, and they helped me with a question stem for predation for their class. And then they gave me some examples and non-examples that we just populated into this Google Doc form. We left the justification blank for our students to fill in, and then down at the bottom we left a place for them to be able to type in an overarching rule. Now, we could print this out as a teacher, give it to them on paper, and let them brainstorm together and work through this, or we could share out a copy with each of our students. Now, to share out a document with your students, you're going to want to look in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and you're going to see a blue share icon. Now, when you click on that icon, it's going to give you an option to type in all of your students' Google accounts. That might be a little overwhelming for some of you. So you can also get a shareable link, and you can allow the students to view this document, which means they can't make any changes to it. You could allow them to edit the document, which means they can go into the document and type and add their own comments. Or you can only allow students to comment, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. If you choose to allow students to view only this document, then to be able to add anything to the document in the justification area, they would need to go into File and make a copy, and they'll make a copy that goes over into their Google Drive. Once it's in their Google Drive, they can rename it, make it their own. They can go in and type in their own justifications for something like this where they're focusing on the why this is an example or a non-example. And so your students have that option as well. Now, one thing that you might want to encourage them to do is to make comments on each other's documents. If that's the case, you can go to Insert and Comment. And when you do, you'll notice a little window popped up, and it allows me to type in a comment that has to do with their justification statement. So I might tell my partner in the class that I disagree. I don't believe that this is the case because, and we can have some discourse back and forth using comments. Someone else can come in and click on that, and you'll notice there's a place to reply, and they might say, well, I do agree, and here's why. And so you can see that there can be conversation using Google tools back and forth. Another thing that you might want to consider is using Google Slides for the same thing. And in this case, when we talked with the biology teachers, they said that they would probably put it in Google Slides and assign one group to each slide. So this first one is an example or a non-example for group 1 to answer, and there is a place down at the bottom for them to type in their justification. Group 2 is assigned the second example or non-example, and they'll type in their justification. And then in the same slide deck, Group 3 will do the same thing, and so forth. So there's a different slide for each group member. Then you can invite the rest of the class to look at slide 1 and say whether they disagree or agree with their justification statement. This is where discourse and debate and all that good thinking comes into play. And so there again, they'll go to insert and comment. And you'll notice it will do the same as it did in docs. So slides or docs will both allow comments. And the students could say, great job, I agree because, and you can have some feedback to the students or disagreement going on so that they have to really turn up the thinking. Love to hear how you use this, what you think, so you can find me on Twitter at DebbieBoyer5 or at the email address of Debbie@leadforward.com.